You're live.
I am live, and this is Queen's Corner 3. And welcome to Queen's Corner 3. I am Rich Lamar, and this is MEN-talRollaDek. And those of you who've used to the show, you know how we do it. We go beyond the surface, we go into it. And this Queen's Corner is we give the queens a chance to give their perspective on a lot of topics and their views. And the Queens was first on this planet, and they don't get enough credit for that in history. They don't get enough credit for that in modern times, and I don't know if the Queens ever got enough credit. So, but this is what we're here for, to hear their views, and this is our third one. The first two was off the charts, and we're going to keep it rolling. And I'm going to welcome Shanae. I'm going to welcome Leslie.
Hi.
And we got two beautiful, insightful, and foresightful queens. And we're going to have some queens joining us along as the show go on also. And as your host, I'm Rich Lamar. And those of you who are used to me, I give the queens the platform. I present questions. I just want them to really express themselves with you guys. And that's what we do. Me as Rich Lamar on MEN-talRollaDek. I'm partners with Jermaine. Jermaine is here. He's behind the scenes doing what he do, keeping everything together. And I'm just asking the questions and getting into the queens, and really want them to really put their heart into it because they're always passionate with us. And we have Shanae, we have Leslie, and we should be joined later on by Sister Pache and Adhesia and some of the other regulars. And don't forget, if you have any questions to ask the queens or myself, just type them in. Jermaine, bring them up, and we'll deal with that also. The topic of this week's Queen's Corner is heritage, and the importance of heritage. And by, heritage is a very important thing, needless to say. But by it being so important, we see so little of it, in the Black community. And it's not only uh, the Black Americans' fault or Black people's fault, if you can say it that way, but our heritage has been stripped from us. And unfortunately, as a people, we're the only species on Earth who've had their heritage stripped from us in a very brutal and unfair way. You can talk to the Asian woman, and she can tell you about her heritage, even if she was born in America. You can talk to the Arab. You can talk to the Jewish woman. She can tell you about her heritage, even though she was born here. And and for some reason, the heritage of the African descent has been stripped spiritually. Our language, our names, our land, our food. Therefore, our identity. And it's destroying our own identity because we're not even speaking our languages. You have other nationalities who know their language, even if they speak another language. But that being said, through all our struggles and strives and tribulations, we've still managed to keep everything together and still striving and still powerful. And my first question to the queens is, this is a question for both of you. In saying that, and all of what we've been through and all of what you queens been through personally, we still hold a dignity. We still hold a strength. And with this strength that we have left, I'm going to start with you, Shanae. With this strength that we have left, um, what is the best thing we can tell the young king and the young queen? How early do you think we should start telling them about our heritage and how important that our birthright as to be a free person spiritually is?
Um, Hi, Rich. So,
I would say that the earliest moment we should share that type of information is actually when they're still in the womb. I mean, we can communicate with them, we can sing to them, we can read books to them, to familiarize that vibration because the baby can't really see, so he or she is listening. And just continue that throughout the development. I guess they say around five is, up 1 through 5 is the most important time to kind of lay foundations and information with children. But it's just an ongoing process, your daily routine, everything from what they are able to watch on television, if you allow your children to watch television. If they do, we have so many resources now. We have YouTube. You can pull up all type of educational cartoons for them. So I think it just starts from day one, and it's an ongoing process.
So you saying day one as day one in the womb?
Yes.
Hmm. Uh, so 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 how did you determine day one in the womb?
Well, okay. So once you're at the stage where you know that the what is it, what's the correct terminology, the fetus
Yeah.
is able to receive, is responding, right? So at some point we feel that first kick. So
Mhm.
when we feel that first kick, at that point the baby is pretty much aware of certain surroundings.
Mhm.
So when that baby's aware of those surroundings, Shanae, um, so obviously you can't speak to them in a language or words in that type of sense, but are you saying that you're gonna the mother should be walking with heritage, eating right, and really being in tune with her spirit as the baby is evolving?
Absolutely. And also in tune with, a lot of times, I know for me, I was able to pick up on my child's personality at when I was carrying them, right?
Yes.
So, just paying close attention to those type of things and being able to, yeah, to definitely diet. I remember there would be times when I would eat certain things and my child would reject it. So it would already let me know that that was the improper diet carrying that child. So you actually learn from your child as well about your heritage, about the things you can and you can't eat.
Yeah, that's real deep because I always say, and when I talk to people that we come through our parents, we come from the universe. We come through our parents because a child can have an insight beyond the parent.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
a lot of parents don't want to accept that. They have a child that's kind of more aware than them in some aspects, because but that the passing of the baton, I mean, they need the parent. The parent is most important, because the first relationship is the mother. So I think that's an excellent point, Shanae, because the first relationship is the mother, and the baby grows in the mother, not the father.
Mhm.
Yes.
So that's an important thing. And our other beautiful queen here, Leslie, you have any thoughts on that?
I'm trying not to bust, child. I agree with Shanae. I have
Yeah.
5 children and
Mm,
3 grandchildren, and uh, from I used to put, back in the day when you have all these fancy things, we had Walkman.
yeah.
You remember the
Okay.
Walkman?
All
And
right.
I used to put the Walkmans on my tummy. I would because I'm a singer, and so not only did I sing to them, but I introduced music, a lot of rhythmic things to them because I grew up with an identity crisis because of my dark skin, and it's this light making me lighter than what I am. But yeah, I since I had an identity crisis from who I was, all of that, I was determined to break the cycle. You see what I'm saying? And I was determined to not allow the school system or the community or TV teach my children who they are. teach them about their history. We didn't have Google and all that stuff back then. So I invested and I was working 3 jobs and this and that in between marriages. I digress. So, so the
Okay.
Encyclopedia Britannica was a big deal. That's what on sale. You might find $500,
Right. Right.
and I had a bunch of cassette tapes. It was called Keep Your Eyes on the Prize, and anything I
Mhm.
would find in the library. And I would take them um, on the weekend when I was off. I would take them
Mhm.
to the library, to the Hampton University Museum, things like that. And I took it upon myself because I knew, everybody on this bandwagon now, but I was woke for decades. And a lot of us was woke for decades. And I knew way back then that it was my responsibility to let my children know who they are, who they belong to, and whose they are, and that they come from good stock. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And when I say
Mhm.
good stock, because people fail to realize if you're black in America at this time, you are strong, period. Because only the
Mhm.
strongest slaves survived the voyage. Only the strongest survived slavery. Only the strongest black people survived Jim Crow and so on and so forth. So if you're black at this point, you already come from good stock. And we need to let our babies know that, especially our boys, our women too. But we're talking about women and men, but I think black women, and this is just my opinion, I ain't spitting on no statistic because I'm a black woman. We're the most abused, neglected, disrespected woman on the planet for no reason. You see what I'm saying? And it takes the older women, 50s and 60s, like my age on up, to let the little baby princesses and queens know that you are somebody. You don't have to get up on a pole. You ain't got to be twerking all across the place. Do you know who you are? You see what I'm saying? But we so busy on the reality shows with our wrinkle tits. Oh, with our
Go
oops.
ahead. This bit's a roller deck. We
I
it's a live show.
I'll say breasticles. Let me stop. But we got our stuff all out competing with the 20-year-olds,
Mhm.
and we 50 and 60. What is wrong with people? We're supposed to be
Yeah.
sitting, not necessarily rocking in the chair and baking cookies. I mean, we're not old and ancient, but why are you competing with 20-year-olds? Trying to wear stilettos, no, your knees bad. Why are we not teaching them who they are? And I have 5 children. They're all every array of color because I have every rare color, within my DNA. I just happen to be the oldest 5 and the only chocolate one. So I have a really chocolate a daughter, the youngest daughter. And when I say she has been abused and tortured just because of her skin color, to the point that she had made the statement, I don't know if it was, I don't know, 6th grade or 7th grade. She didn't want to be alive anymore. She didn't want to go to school. At that point, I got ignorant. Since the teachers weren't doing nothing, I got up there. And by the time I finished showing out, everything got straight. I don't know how much we can say on here. It's my first time, but I cut the fool. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I tried, because we all code switch. We all, hi, my name is Leslie. How are you? Oh, yeah, but I can act like a nigger when it's time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's our responsibility to protect our own, our children, our men, and ourselves. Well, I can go missing right now. Won't nobody look for me? You see what I'm saying? Our children go missing every 30 seconds a day, if there's something like that. Nobody
Right.
looks for them. Nobody. And so when it comes to heritage, I think it's very like the sister said that it starts in the womb. And then when they're 6 months and crawling, I've seen babies on YouTube and all this stuff twerking, rapping, and everything else at one. Why can't you know what Africa looked like at one? You see what I'm saying? And when we
Yes.
teach our children, let our names mean something. You see, there's power in a name.
Yes.
Also remember that we live in a world that discriminates against us because of our name. I thank God for my mama. She named me Leslie. It gave me a fighting chance in the resume process, and so
Mhm.
that's how I name my children. If you want something ethnic or cute, put it in the middle name, child. But Aquanisha water on the knees, oh, come on. So
Hello.
I'm sorry.
No, I hear you. I hear you, sister.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
No,
But we
don't
need
don't
to,
need.
most of us are not born with a silver spoon in our mouth. not even a wooden one, not even a spoon. But we are still capable of giving them hands up in various areas, when we name them at birth, what we tell them, how we talk to them. Before you got on, Rich, I was telling them I've been fighting with racists almost all day about the young man that got killed at Wendy's. And he made the statement to me. I was minding my business, came on my little TikTok page, told me, well, y'all need to teach y'all people how to comply, and you need to teach them how to survive out here. I said, first of all, you're an idiot because you are not aware at all. All we do is teach our children how to keep their head down and how to comply. Where have you been? People marching and protesting because people who complied are dead. Number one, and number two, we start teaching ours at 5 before when they hit the school door. This is how you survive. So you need to get up off my TikTok. But the people just say stuff out their mouth, don't even know what they're talking about. Nobody knows what it's really like to be black. Kim Kardashian and people like that, Miley Cyrus, they play black for a couple of months, but they get to step out their character. This is our life. And so, I mean, when it comes to the women, we have such a mantle to bear as Black women. We are good enough to breastfeed your baby during slavery and to cook your food, but we're not good enough for you to treat us like human beings. You see what I'm saying? You take our babies and feed them to alligators while we nurse yours. You take the milk out of my baby's mouth to nurse yours, but we're the animals. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. No, no need to apologize, Leslie, because I didn't think that Queen's Corner could get any more passionate. You just proved it. We're passionate here, and and this is what it's about because queens are passionate. The woman is natural as nature. Where would we be without nature? Where would we be without the queens? And both you queens have answered that passionately and thoroughly. And this is why I asked you to come on. Feel free to come on and speak, Leslie, because we need your passion. We need your strength. Um, now
Black women love hard.
we it is hard, and we
Hmm.
look. The panel was passionate before you, and we just bring in more and more passion. But I want the audience to see and hear and feel the queens, and this is what we do here. And Mental Rolodeck and Jermaine and me, we give it to you. If you can't, if you can't take it, then just change the channel because
Yeah.
somebody's got to come correct because we've been hearing lies all our life.
Yes.
So somebody's got to come correct. And this heritage, see, Shanae hit it on the nail on the head, and you hit the nail on the head that it starts in the womb
Yes.
because heritage is blood, is spirit, is heart and soul,
Yes.
and that starts in the womb.
Yes.
And and I want the young king and queens who's listening and the elders see we're the only people we saying we as black people. Now, Earth is home for all of us, but we as black people has been the only people that's been stripped from heritage.
Yes.
That means spirit, language, name, land, food, and we're still among the masses, among the strongest. So that says a lot, and the youth must hear that, and they must hear it early, because early they take what little heritage you have left. They put you in school, they
They
give you
lie.
this, they give you this religion, they give you now. There's nothing wrong with school. There's nothing wrong with religion. But let me say this: the people that know me on MEN-talRollaDek, they know I'm holistic. I'm a holistic life coach, and I don't follow religion. If you do, that's fine. I'm not here to convert you or to convince you. What you do is what you do. What I'm saying, look beyond the surface of it. Know what you're getting into. Look at what you're getting into beyond the surface. Because speaking of heritage, when you give a black child a Bible, there's no heritage in there for him. There's no heritage for a black child in that book. The only thing black in that book is the letters. And there are some blackness in it, and I understand it's a spiritual book. And those of you who are Christians or Quran or Dead Sea Scrolls or Jewish, that's fine. But there's enough Jews helping Jews. There's enough Arabs helping Arabs. There's enough Italians helping Italians. Somebody's got to help the black people.
Mm,
Us as a people, we have to stick together, like these queens are saying, and start young with the youth.
yes.
We have to help ourselves because it's become clear that nobody's going to help us but us.
Mm,
So there's nothing wrong with us standing here on Mental Roller Deck and being passionate about it, because if somebody takes your hair, it's just like if somebody says, let's get up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, Leslie, and you look in the closet, they stole your boots.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so they say, well, black people is like crabs in the barrel. It may be true in some areas, but we didn't create the barrel.
Exactly.
Okay? It's like everybody's running to a finish line, but we're the only ones starting at the starting line. Everybody else got a head start.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling what's obvious in the truth.
Exactly.
They're beating us down in the street.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And not beating us down, they're murdering us on video.
Yes. And can I say
So
this? I'm
go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt. And we got so much to protest and holler for and whatever else. So everything is not going to be covered. And that's why I don't say certain things on my social platform because it's not time for that yet. Right now, we doing this. Y'all stop fighting about who it is, whether that's should protest, right, whatever. Right now, we do. Can we get on board with this? And then we'll deal with this. Then we'll deal with what's going on in our culture. But right now, it got to be a solidarity shown, But I wanted to say this what the policemen are doing to the black man, the black boy, not only are men, but our babies. They shooting our babies down like dogs. The officer that had the 15-year-old girl in custody, he was so comfortable. He knew that there was a camera in that holding cell. And if you know there's a camera and you are still comfortable enough to rape a 15-year-old child with her hands behind her back on her knees, and then when she was trying to will, he punches her in her head and nothing's done, there's something wrong. So not only are they killing our men and our babies, so what I'm trying to say is what the cops are doing to the black men, the medical system and the doctors are doing to the black women. That's not discussed. I didn't had 5 children and almost died all 5 times unnecessarily. So they don't hear us, they don't listen to us, and they got this thing down from slavery like black people don't feel like white people physically feel that we can tolerate pain more. Our skin is tougher. All this foolishness and these lies that has come over with slavery. That's not true. So they don't give us the pain medications we need. They don't give us the type of treatment that they need. They ignore us. I mean, they'll go to the white woman first. We'll discuss that another time. But I had to put that in there so people would know what the cops are doing to the black men, the doctors are doing to the black women when we're giving birth. I just had to.
Yes, yes, and that's a great point because somebody out there needed to hear that. And what we do here at Mental Roller Deck, we are timeless. That means we speak the truth. Now, I'm holistic, but that doesn't mean that everybody on the panel is holistic. For
Mm,
those of you who's watching us, that doesn't mean that Leslie is holistic and Shanae
mm,
is holistic. It's just
mm.
I'm a but on this panel we speak the truth. And we're timeless. That means that it's always the right time for the truth. And and we've heard so much lies, the truth need be told. And speaking of heritage, our heritage has a lot to do with what we eat. Our heritage has a lot to do uh, with our birthright. Our youth needs to be informed early of what birthright is, and our heritage says that we are spiritual people. Now that means that we are righteous people. We're not born with sin. We are righteous people. We know in our hearts what to do. We are connected to the universe. So we don't need uh, a middleman. God is in us. Our heritage says we claim, command, and demand. But they take our children at 4 or 5 years old and they learn how to submit, beg, and pray. See, when they put a religion in your hand, it cancels out your spirituality birthright of your heritage. Because when you connected, you don't need a middleman. You don't need a ritual. You don't need a Jesus. And this is how we talk on Mental Rolodeck. Those of you uh, who don't like it, I'm happy for that. I want you to be upset with me. I know how many death threats I get. This is me talking, not Leslie, not Shanae. If you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at me. But they're gonna have their views in a minute. But I'm just letting everybody know that our heritage is from claim, command, and demand, not submit, beg, and pray. And we tell our children at a young age to submit to hyenas raising them instead of the lioness. And they grow up submitting, begging, and praying. Always submitting, begging, and praying. We're here to claim, command, and demand. And the other part of that question is, Queens and Shanae, once the child is start communicating with you verbally, uh, what about heritage do you share with them verbally? And do you go on from there?
Well, with my children, what I would do things different now, but at the time when I had them, what I shared with them was what I had to give them from my grandparents and from uncles and aunties. So I would basically share some of the information that they had shared with me about their life and what the things that they went through during certain times. My family only, goes back to the South. They weren't really in touch with their heritage before that. So, but however, they brought a lot of it with them. So it's kind of intertwined with the being Aboriginal, but also being Aboriginal. A lot of the heritage has ties back to the Caribbean, back to Africa in different places. So it's just kind of it's all mixed together. So what I would
Right.
offer up to them is basically things that I learned growing up being raised by my grandparents. And then I also had a mother who was curious. And so she studied with the Nation of Islam, but she also studied with the Catholics, but she also studied with the Baptists. So I kind of had a full circle to offer to my children. So that's where I brought heritage in. Now, as of now, I give them a lot more as I've learned along the way. So that's basically how I pretty much offer up heritage to
Right.
them.
Right.
And
Yeah.
one thing, oh, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, finish.
One thing I took from my grandmother is, both of my children have different personalities. And I would remember complaining to my grandmother about how my oldest child was a crybaby. And this goes back to saying, when should you start offering this information and teaching? And she would say to me, do you remember how much you cried when you carried him? So that in itself let me know that whatever we are conscious of during the time that we're carrying them, it that's what the child, that's the energy that the child takes on. So when I had my second child, I stayed away from everyone. I was very calm during my whole pregnancy, and he came out as that type of child. He's very understanding, he's calm, he can listen. So everything starts at those stages, and that's something I had to learn as part. Now that's part of my heritage.
Right. Right. And that's a great point, Queen, because people look at heritage and they go back into history and they see the pyramids and they see Africa and that's all great. That has its place. But heritage is a moving thing. It's
Yes.
not, it's always evolving. But it's evolving from the positive energy root of what it is, which is connected to the universe as a people. See, we overlook that as a people. See, heritage is something that when a youngster gets a hold of it, they see that is family. Not only the family that's in your home, but every black person that you see. Now, if the African blood is dominant, but if you look at the Jamaican and you look at the South American and you look at anybody that's that's that has that carbon color, you see and feel the rhythm. Now I've proven this publicly when I've brought children up on stage with me, and I put on music and I've played music and I've had and all the black children dance and had different rhythm than everybody else. Not saying that the black children, I'm not talking about dancing. I'm talking about vibration and rhythm. That means that we are connected. If you connected, you don't need anyone to connect you. And this is what heritage tells a young child, because at a young age, school and society says, peace is always outside of you. You got to look outside of you. You got to wait till you get to heaven. You got to wait till you graduate. No, you don't have to wait for anything because it's in you. They created schools so people can learn what we're born to do. We don't have to learn music. I'm a musician. Black people don't have to learn music. We are born with this. Now, there's some black people that's better than others musically, but rhythm, we have it in us. It's born in us. Now, don't get me wrong. I went to music school and I did all that. But the rhythm and the music that touches the heart, you can't teach. And this is part of the spirit of our heritage, because heritage is action. Heritage is not sitting and listening and watching and looking. Heritage is action. And we've lost that action because of these schools, because of these religions. Our heritage, we're directly connected. So when a child begins to speak, and the child, this is why they put the child in school once the speaking and the comprehension starts at 4 years old. But we have to switch that up, because a child that's going into public school or whatever school they go to at 4 or 5 years old must feel a heritage. And all the children, this is why they have tests to see which one has more heritage than the other, which one has more spirit than the other. I was talking to someone the other day, and then I'm gonna let you queens go. I'm gonna let you queens talk uh, um, about the royal family. And the royal family, you don't see their children in public schools or private schools. You don't even see their children in school because they teach them heritage. Those children know at 3 years old to claim, command, and demand. Now, you come out of the royal family and you look at the public schools or whatever school a black person, a child is going to, they're learning how to submit, beg, and pray. When you have somebody that's knowing to claim, command, and demand at 3 years old, you're not raising a child, you're raising a queen and a king. And my next question to you queens is, it's obvious that you queens are passionate and knowledgeable. What changed you in your life? And we got Sister Pache here. And Sister Pache, since you're here, I'm gonna put you to work.
All right. Hello,
When
kings. Hey, queen.
Hello, that's
Hi.
Leslie on the platform. And Sister Pache, what changed you in your life to feel heritage, and you became more conscious, and were you always like that, or did you always feel and your blackness, your heritage, or was there an event, or what changed you to being more aware?
For me, I grew up in it. Being, from the South Side of Chicago. uh, our schools where we were, I saw black teachers teaching us, so it wasn't foreign to me. All of the schools on, the area that I live were named after black people. I went to Ralph H. Metcalf Magnet, George Washington Carver High, and we had Kennedy King College. We had Percy L. Julian. All of that was, in my neighborhood on the South Side. So I grew up singing the Black National Anthem, and I had all ethnicities in my neighborhood, Indian, Chinese, you had Native American, all of that was in my neighborhood. So, but all of us respected each other's culture. So diversity was so beautiful, because we got a chance to see everybody, flow in their element. So I grew up in it. It became different when I moved from Chicago to a small town in Louisiana. That was a culture shock because they knew nothing about how I grew up or any of the things that I experienced. It's totally different. I didn't have not well, I did. I had one black teacher. She was my typing teacher, but everybody else was white. You know, so it was crazy because I had to act like this was my new norm, but because I was who I was, that didn't stick or sit well with me. So, I was always ousted, I guess you could say. The spotlight was always on me because I flowed differently. But that's because I grew up differently. I grew up knowing myself for real. And then as I got older and I started meeting more people that were like-minded like myself, when I went to Southern University, then I was around people that were actually from Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta. So, I was able to pick back up on that again. And but I never wavered in my culture. If that, I don't know, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, I never wavered in my culture because I love who I am. I love my people. I love my ancestry. I love my lineage. So it always stayed with me. And so, like I said, from the very beginning, from elementary school, grammar school, I knew who I was, and my family encouraged it. One of the things that I can say, because all of my family is from Louisiana, but migrated to Chicago. One of the things that they purposely did, when I say they, I mean my older cousins and stuff like that, they purposely didn't want us to say yes, sir, and no, ma'am, because to them, it was like yes and no are the words that's in the dictionary. If you choose to say yes, sir, and no, ma'am, that is up to you. But all we ask you to say is yes and no, not yeah and no. They'll say,
Mhm.
excuse me, what did you say? I'm sorry, yes. Okay, then. So that was one of the
Right.
things because they grew up saying that and they were just like, no, we're gonna kind of take that out a little, but we want you to speak clearly, pronounce, enunciate, uh, be forthright with your words or your stance. Don't waver. So that was how I grew up.
Yeah, that's beautiful, sister. And you hit the point because we're so conditioned to that's part of that yes ma'am and all that servitude, all
Hmm.
that submit, you got to submit and you got to beg, you got to pray, you got to and then you look at the royal family, they're raising kings and queens at 2 and 3 years old. They're showing them how to claim, command and demand. So,
Hmm.
and then but when they're on the media, they show the Bible and Christianity and Catholicism and all of this. But behind the scenes, they're claiming, commanding, and demanding. But we're showing our children, you gotta pray, you gotta suffer, Jesus suffered, and you gotta do this, you gotta wait. It's always over there. It just seems to be it's never where you are. It's always we gotta wait and look and suffer and but our heritage says claim, command, and demand.
Hmm.
And this is why one of the reasons why you never lost it, Sister Pache, because you wasn't taught how to lose it.
Right. Right.
See, we teach our children how to lose things unaware. Go to that school. You're gonna be late. If I get one more letter from that teacher, see, you're teaching them how to live with disorder. You're teaching them how to submit. Well, you better get you another job. When you go into that interview, you better talk like this and you better act like that. You submit. That's why they say submit your application. Submit. See the little things that they do to get us subconscious, to get our consciousness off of our heritage. The little things, submit. You have to apply, conform. And they know when you grow up with that, all you know is servitude.
Mhm.
Because heritage knows nothing about servitude. This is why they forced us with chains into slavery. Because heritage knows nothing about chains. Heritage knows nothing about service. Heritage knows nothing about thank you. It knows everything about gratitude and integrity. There's no gratitude without integrity. There's no integrity without gratitude. But this thank you and submitting and you know, we go to the bank and the teller give us our own money and we say thank you. That's my money. The little things. Because who we give our thoughts to is who we give our power to. And they make these words control us. You'd be surprised that servitude will destroy you of your heritage. And then when it's come time for you to be encouraged, time for you to show your courage and be strong, you can't find it. So you got to run to the Bible. You got to run to somewhere. So you always run into a middleman. Everybody but you has the answer. But heritage says you have the answer. And I have to ask Leslie too, um, Queen, why hasn't this virus affected you? And you kept your heritage and you're strong and passionate about it. Were you always like this, or was there an event, or
Um,
what did you?
Mine came in waves and stages,
Mhm.
because I was considered the black sheep, metaphorically and literally. I was forced to walk with courage and strength to survive. Um, a lot of people, because we all know about the the brown bag test, the paper bag test, the lighter the writer, and so I did not have that, and so you are forced to survive. And there's a lot of things you said. I feel like you can have heard because I tell my grandma, God rest her soul, yes, ma'am, because we as black people don't get the respect, we're not submitted to half the time and things like that. So when you tell your great grandma, your nana, your mima, whatever one of you got, whatever, yes, ma'am, and something, I don't mean no harm, but when I say yes, sir, to a black man, I've had people go, what? They our men are so
Take your time. Take your time.
beat down and just whatever. That I don't care who I meet. I will only meet them for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and never again, or whatever. I try to leave an impression. People rarely know what you say to them or remember what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. And I had said to myself decades ago, and I'm a domestic abuse survivor, but you would never hear me say, all black men ain't it, or mother effer effer. I don't do that. I just have a bad judge of character. I dealt with some clowns. It's not all men. You see what I'm saying? And so I had purposed in my mind, even before I had my three male boys, that every time I meet a black man, I will respect him, even if it's something small, things like that, So I say, yes, sir. And they go, whoa, nobody never told me yes, sir before. And their chest actually puff up, because they're not used to it. And so I think we're talking apples and oranges when you're talking about heritage and submitting to the white man and all of that, whatever else. I just think we as a people need to, whenever possible, show each other respect and honor who we are. Come together. Even we was had this because I had a sinus infection when the Rona hit, so I was already quarantined and sick as a dog. So when I came up, I was like, what's going on? What happened? Why are all the toilet paper gone? Does this thing give you diarrhea? What is going on? I'm just like, what? And so I went to the store and I had come out and I told the black sister, I said, look, I hid some so and so, some sanitizer, some alcohol, whatever. Go to aisle so and so behind this, behind this. She was like, "You're really telling me that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm looking out. Like, yeah, go over there, blah blah blah." That's how we help each other. Little things every day. You don't never know what anybody is going through, just to give somebody a smile and things like that. And then, I'm just so pro black. Somebody asked me, Les, if you had a choice to come back any other race, what would it be? I didn't even have to think of black. No, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I said, I heard you. If it was a Twilight Zone, I said, you ain't got to break it down. I'll come back black. And they looked at me like I was mentally retarded. I find honor in being black. I feel so blessed with everything that we currently go through, have gone through as a black female. I still find a certain amount of honor in being black, African American. I do. And so for me, it's just always been a thing. I went to my aunt's funeral some months ago and I was sitting there and I had my hair like really bushed or whatever. A little dark skinned girl. I mean, she was like really, really, really dark. And she was like, "Hey, you forgot to do your hair this morning?" And her light skinned aunt freaked. "Shut your mouth." I said, "Don't shut her up." And it was a round table of people. And it was people, I tell you, the fork stopped, the room hushed, and everybody just looked like that was some kind of taboo. And everybody thought I was going to do something else. But there was a teaching moment, not for just for that baby, but for all the people that was around me. I said, "What do you mean, sweetheart?" She said, "You didn't straighten your hair flat." I said, "Why do you think I need to straighten my hair flat?" "So it can be pretty." I said, "You don't think I'm pretty?" If you do your hair, maybe." I said, "Well, how did your hair grow out your head, baby?" She said something like that. I said, "Guess what? It's beautiful. And you're beautiful." She said, "Huh?" I said, "You are beautiful. That stuff you see on TV and in the magazine that tells you that this is beautiful doesn't necessarily mean you're not beautiful. You're a different type of beauty and you're the best beauty." It took me 10 minutes. And the girl, she was almost about to cry. I think she was like 9 or 8 and things like, but it came in such a sincere, and everybody was just standing around looking at me. I'm like, what? You know, that's the type of heritage I pour into everybody I meet. You have to be my child, my cousin, my man, no nothing. Be proud of who you are. Embrace yourself. I went in Dollar Tree, minding my business, y'all, tending to my business. And before we start calling them Karen, and I can't, she said, "You need to do something with your hair." And I looked around like, who? I said, "Lord, do I go to jail or do I go home?" And I said, "Just ma'am, just," she was the cashier. I just ring up my stuff. "Well, you need to do this." I said, "Ring up my stuff. Just go ahead now. Ring up my stuff." And she went on. So I let her have a couple of words. You know what I'm saying? And that's above your pay grade. I think we laughed. But I got her told. I refused to walk out there with my head hung down because somebody from the mountains of Caucasus told me what they thought was beautiful and that I could possibly make that goal if I just did this and I just did that. Child, I'm fat and black and proud to be me. I was alive, Hoppo. I was alive. So I don't care. Care. I was here now,
Yes, indeed.
Well,
so
that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. It's like, um, that's what's so good, great about Mental Rolodeck platform. We're passionate here. And let me tell you about your hairstyle, Leslie. There's a girl who had a record deal back in the day, and they said, everything's great. The band is kicking, but your lead singer, we got to change your hair. And she says, if I change my hair, you're not gonna get that record. You're not gonna get that same vibration
I know
because
who that
I
is.
gotta come me. And this girl name was Shaka Khan.
I
And
know that story.
when Shaka came out, and they seen her hair, which is like Leslie's now. Uh, the next Soul Train that came on, every female had their hair like Leslie right now,
Oh wow.
and it was Shaka changed everything. By me being a musician, I know the history of music, and I've played with a lot of these musicians and know some people that play
Oh,
with them.
okay.
So I know the history firsthand, some of it.
Mhm.
And Shaka Khan came out, and they's like, look at that hair. And then when she came out with that voice,
Mm-hmm.
it was the same thing with the Beatles, even though there wasn't a black group, but all white boys had their hair cut.
In
But
mushrooms.
the Beatles was trying to look like Chuck Berry and Little Richard.
Oh.
So they had bangs and all of that. They couldn't grow no afro, so they just had all these bangs and everything. But when people seen that, the see when we was talking about this the other day, Sister Pache and Shanae, that
Yeah.
when you being yourself, vibration and the universe is with you.
Mhm.
And society separates us from our heritage. See, heritage is a creative thing. We are the creators. But they switch our heritage. You better get in touch with your creator. We are the creators,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and being that we're creators, queens, we all know that we had a grandmother somewhere and we don't know how she did it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, even when we become adults, we'd be like, man, I still don't know how she did it.
Yes.
And King had a question earlier, and I think it was pertaining to, losing our heritage back in the day. How do we adjust now? That's a good question. And
How do we adjust?
yeah, I think this question was pertaining to our heritage now versus to how we lost it earlier. Because really, if you look at it,
I say segregation, but
it's because it's a tough thing. Because if you really been stripped of your heritage before we still have the spirit of it, but we can't go into detail like most nationalities. You know, so Leslie, I see you over there like a look. You get like a racehorse now. I'm gonna let you race. I'm gonna let you go off on it.
no,
I'm gonna
I
let you
just
go.
have to say you are so right about losing our heritage and things like that. But
Mm,
what is so unique about Black people and why our culture is always stolen from and all kinds of stuff and all of that. We lost our heritage. Yes, I could be talking to somebody from Ghana, somebody from the Caribbean. We could be anything. We don't know who we really are. However, once we came over here, we are so unique in that we started cultivating something new. We are so adaptable and creative and strong. You see what I'm saying? People walk in their royalty without even knowing it. Just like if you drink a jug of water, you're going to eventually have to pee. It's just natural. The voices, the call and answer stuff they used to do back in the church, or we could not talk in the field, so they used to sing it. Where we going to dinner at? Where we going to meet the runaway? All in song. Follow the drinking gourd. Just what
right.
other? I don't know. I'm asking. What other race of people have been stripped to that capacity and not only survived but thrived? With something else. I chat.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry.
and
I'm being
Leslie hit the point, and we talked about this a few lives ago, Leslie, and I always say, they looked at us as nothing. We
mhm,
had nothing. We were
mhm.
set free to nothing. We set free to nothing, but we made something out of nothing. And we're
Still got
still we and
lawyers.
we're still doing
Yes.
it. And we're
Billionaires.
still doing it. And King made a good point. Look, our hair is the only hair that goes against gravity, and it
Yes,
and
it goes upward.
that's the reason, because
Mm-hmm.
it's our antenna with the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when you look through a electrical grid in your city, you see those coils. That's
Mhm,
our hair. You don't get electricity unless it's going through coils, and
mhm.
like that type of thing. But that's another lie. Uh, um, and Sister Shanae's over there in the Bay Area, and Sister Shanae is in the Bay Area, and Sister Pache is in Louisiana. And where are you, Leslie?
I'm currently in Newport News, but I was way raised in Williamsburg near Jamestown. So you can
Yeah,
go
James.
back.
Okay, all right. Where are you? Where are you now? Where are you now?
I'm in Newport News now, near Hampton University, Fort Eustis, all of that. About 30 minutes from Virginia Beach in Virginia.
Okay, all
Okay,
right.
I know exactly where
So
you are.
I'm on the East Coast.
so
My family's in Cali, but I'm over here.
okay. So we're covering West, East, and South,
Wow.
Hmm.
and but experiencing the same thing.
Yes.
Hmm.
And this what do you what are you ladies perspective on our heritage versus these religions and belief system?
Mm.
I'm gonna start with you, Shanae.
Okay, so where I want to start is I listened to Sister Cachet, and she says, she was raised in Chicago, so she always kind of grew up with her heritage. With me, it was on the flip side. I didn't grow up with any of it. And this is going to tie into the religious part of it. Growing up here in the Bay Area, my grandparents were very, very strong Christians. You had to go to church on Sunday, revival Thursday, choir board meeting, usher board meeting. You was at church 7 days a week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I didn't really grow up having my heritage. I kind of grew up as the typical um, African American who migrated from the South into different areas for work. So my family came to California for work. Where I picked up on my heritage and started to question things and started to question religion was actually platforms. And I know this is going to be really funny, and I've brought it up before, but it was Yo MTV Raps that opened up my mind, and I was able to see conscious rappers like X Clan and MC Light, like all of those people who were speaking a language I had never heard before growing up in the Bay Area. In a small, I lived 30 minutes from Oakland. Now, Oakland always had a lot of culture, but I wasn't in Oakland. I had cousins in Oakland. I was more or less in the country. So that's where I start. I didn't grow up around learning it. The only person I knew about in my household was Martin Luther King, a little bit of Malcolm X, but that's pretty much it. It was like Martin Luther King was that icon. That's it. It didn't go past Martin Luther King. So as a child, like I said, I was curious. I started reading books, like I heard about Harriet Tubman. So it's kind of like I educated myself, and that's where I bridged the gap. And I started to question the religion because I kept thinking, why do we don't learn anything in church unless it's Black History Month? So that just kind of, it was weird for me. So I picked back up with my heritage growing up, and I'm still learning a lot now that I don't know. And
So
I had to say, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just
And I was gonna piggyback on what Leslie was saying. I had the same experience with my hair. I locked my hair about 5 years ago, and my grandma almost sent her to her grave when she seen my hair. I'm serious. I thought I was gonna have to take her to the emergency room, and she just didn't understand it. But I set the tone because I also worked in an environment that was predominantly um white or European, or I don't know. We play with all these word games now, but we know who these people are. And when I stepped on the scene at work, I was getting side-eyed by even the blacks on the job, or the aboriginals, or African Americans on the job. But now here it is, a couple years later, they all lock their hair. So at some point, in order to grasp your heritage again, somebody has to take a step. Somebody has to be the one to set the tone and say everything is about foundation. So no, I didn't come from it, but I found it again.
Yeah, so if you grew up with those religions, so y'all had the picture of Jesus on the wall, the
It's
Last
still up in
Supper.
my. It's still here. The
It's
Last
still up.
Supper. It's and I keep threatening my grandma that I'm gonna take it down and throw it out, but I don't want to kill her, so I leave it alone.
Yeah.
I'll be killing on your grandma.
Yeah, I don't want to kill her because I understand that she doesn't understand those things. But what I do is I always tell this. So this is where I'm setting the heritage for my son. I let him know that that picture doesn't have anything to do with us. I make it a point to tell him about that. So actually being back at my grandmother's house, which is where I reside now, is forcing me to set that tone with my son, which is great.
Yeah, and that's beautiful, Shanae, because again, for the people that just joined us, the people that know me, they know how I talk. But again, we're not denouncing religion, we're not against Christianity, Islam, or religion. We're looking and investigating, and we're talking about heritage. And I'm saying that heritage is you, the actual you, not the you that's trying to conform to Christianity, not the you that's trying to obey society, not the you that's trying to fit in, the you that's telling you to wear your hair like this or that, the you that's telling you to be you. Now we're not. Heritage doesn't. Heritage is an action. It's a spiritual action. So a heritage is not based on must and must nots. Heritage is a birthright. And so that's my question. How do you ladies see? And I'm gonna go with Leslie on this. Then I'm gonna hit you up, Sister Pache. How do you see heritage and this belief system that we're conditioned to do, or heritage, how it stands up with
Okay.
Christianity or religion?
Well, first of all, uh, it varies. I was blessed to be in a church that did not have it was a Pentecostal church, but they did not have the white Jesus, nothing like that. We would have Bible study, and we actually would visit often. I was the youth president, and I would make sure. I get in trouble a lot of times, but I would make sure that we actually, when they said his hair was wool and his feet was brass and this and that, just to bring question, to allow them the capacity to think, analyze, to analytically think for themselves. Their parents didn't like it. Fire me. But I'm just saying, I wasn't telling them anything, but I was showing us what did that mean to you guys? What was it? And then we would study the map in the back. Well, if this was his footsteps and his journeys, do you think this skin color could handle that temperature, that this and that? And they were like, we never thought of that, So different things like that. So I brought my curiosity and who I was into church. And I gotta say this, I gotta be transparent. Um, I've been on my deathbed over 9 times, and I've had experiences, so I'm not a religious person. I have a relationship. I don't believe in this and this and that and the isms, because people can fight all day, but at the end of the day, when you by yourself and you're dying and you have certain set experiences, they're your experiences. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm capable of playing well in the sandbox. I can listen to you all, I can listen to whatever else, this and that and whatever else, because at the end of the day, we all supposed to be connected by love and tolerance, but for me, it has kept me sane because of my background. I could have easily been a thug on the street or dead or whatever else. So I needed to be wrangled in because I was a train wreck, So it's certain aspects of having a relationship with the creator that made me who I am today. You see what I'm saying? So everybody needs different things. I don't knock nothing and knock nobody. But the thing about me, people want to knock me and make me do things, but they want me to be tolerant of them. So I just make it a point to be tolerant and things like that. With my children, I break everything down. We still today, they can't wait till we all come together. We talk to 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, all night long. Because I told them, long as you're not being disrespectful, you can say what's on your mind. Let's visit that. Let's talk. And that's a part of the heritage. If you don't have a heritage, let's say you got a broken family. Let's say I don't know, you're in foster care, whatever else. Once you start making your own little family, you can create your heritage. You can learn. I forgot what sister was saying that they taught themselves. Um, but you can learn and then break that cycle and teach your babies the right way and the right things. You see what I'm saying? So I am just, I love learning and I love talking to people and I love listening to people. As long as you're on the earth, you should never stop learning. A brain surgeon don't know how to put in a weave. You see what I'm saying? A heart surgeon can't fly a rocket. You don't know everything, and we don't have the answers to everything. But as long as you're able to talk, have dialogue, not yelling, screaming, and cussing, sit back and listen to your brother. I think that is a quality that everybody would need. That actually would serve, will solve all our world issues. Putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, listening, and treating people like you want to be treated. Solve. We don't need a UN, but that's
Yeah.
too old for people. So
Right. Right.
heritage, and just and with me and my children, I teach them that your skin is brown and you're beautiful. Love your hair, love yourself, your thick thighs, your thick lips, your wide nose. You get it from your mama. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
So we have to, like, within our own little nucleus family, teach self-respect, self-love, and how to love themselves. We got certain traditions we made up along the way just because we want to be connected and feeling. Then my son's out in Los Angeles. He gets mad. We got to put him on the video while we cut the food because he missed the things we used to do. You see what I'm saying? And I just think it's all about being tolerant and listening and what's right for you. That's just my opinion.
That's
Okay.
good.
So you're saying that um heritage and religion intersects?
They really. I don't like the word religion though. It just wrecks my nerves. Not you don't wreck my nerves.
That's
I'm just saying
oh right, I hear
religion
what
is
you're
like,
saying.
oh,
Oh,
you
Yeah.
know.
okay. Well, heritage and Christianity.
Well, heritage of Christianity, it can intersect according to how you deal with. I know some people supposed to be Christian is crazy and the day is long. And it's just, I don't want to say Christianity, but whatever your belief is and whatever higher power.
Yeah, because that's the original question, the belief system.
The belief system. Yes,
Hmm.
Yeah.
whatever keeps you from blowing people up, knocking people over, stealing, killing, going crazy, whatever you do, you.
Mhm.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
'Cause at the end of the day, we just all long for peace. We all long for acceptance. We all want to be respected, and we all want to be loved. Everybody
Yeah.
wants somebody. Everybody want to be heard. You see what I'm saying? And if you have the proper belief system, you can navigate your way through that and be a decent human being. Just like all these people, all these matter people, all these alt right and whatever else, they claim they Christians. I'm looking at like, you can have all that over there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But they're just using people use things as a tool to do what they want to do. Simple as that.
Hmm.
Okay. So, Sister Pache,
Yeah.
do you see heritage and we see this belief system, whether it's Christianity or Islam or any other organized religion? Do you see this intersecting or do you see it interfering with heritage?
Um, right now, if I'm looking at today, well, no, I could actually say from the past as well. I think it hinders our heritage because um in my opinion, I just really think that we put so much into religion and that we neglect ourselves, our households, our belief systems, the
That's
way
true.
that yeah, the way that we do stuff. I really, really believe that, we put so much into church and what the pastor says and what we
That's
need
true.
to do and sowing our first seed of our first of the first check of the year to the church, knowing that you have a family and children and bills to pay and things are still moving. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that because culturally, and I I expressed this, Leslie, to the kings and the queens. I remember what changed my perception. This was it was a turning point in my life. But one of the things that happened, I remember I was talking to one of the ministers of my church,
Mhm.
the last church that I was going to. And because I'm very versed in my culture and I love, learning about my people and different inventors. And it's so much,
Mhm.
we have so many moving parts when it comes to our culture, right?
Yeah.
So I asked this minister who I was really good friends with. I would go visit her just to visit her. And I asked her, I said, I want to ask you something. Why is it that we don't talk about, Black History Month? Why don't we celebrate Black History Month? Because at that time, I was working at an African boutique. So all the churches were coming there to get African clothing for, because that's the only month they want to be Black was, for, Black
Right.
History Month. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So and I noticed that my church wasn't participating. My pastor, and I had a nice sized church, and none of
Mhm.
my church members were coming in. So I asked her, I said, why don't we celebrate Black History Month? Why the children don't do a dedication to
Mhm.
different, hi, I'm Martin Luther King Jr. You
Yeah.
remember how we used to do back in the day,
Yeah.
right? None of that. And so instead of her, instead of us opening up this dialogue, she was very upset with me. I don't know who you're talking to. That's not God. That's not God. You need to repent. That is not the Lord. And I tell you what, you need to fast and pray. I mean, she went in on me.
Oh,
She
Jesus.
really went in on me, right? And I was just sitting there, just holding the phone, because what I needed to hear how she really felt. And
Yeah.
because she said, God doesn't see color. God this, God that. And we all, God don't care anything about no Black History Month. We all want color. The Lord this and Lord that. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa,
That's not what
whoa.
you were
Because society don't
saying.
say that. Society does not say that.
You sure
So
don't.
right. So what you're doing, you're asking us to follow this mythology of Christianity,
Mhm.
and we supposed to just forget about the color of our skin, because society reminds us every single day who
Yes.
who we are. You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? Whether we want to or not. Grocery store, gas station,
Mhm.
workplace,
Mhm.
school, it doesn't matter. We're reminded every single day. So I think when people put so much into religion that you forget who you forget about your heritage, you forget about your lineage, you forget about your culture, you forget about the legacy that you're supposed to leave your children and your children's children, because you're wanting to sit at this last supper with Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? And that, to me, you're missing the mark, and you're
Yes.
wondering why children don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I'm looking at like sisters 22, 25, and 30, 35 don't even know who they are, because this, somebody dropped the ball.
Mhm.
And I think it is important for us to not lose that. And whenever we see, because it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't have any biological children, but I'm still a mother. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I still find it a responsibility for
Yes.
children who don't know, even some grown folks who are open to receive it. I don't mind teaching, because
Yeah.
I occasionally still work at the African boutique, and that boutique is a pillar in the community, because that's what we do. We educate people on our culture. So
Mhm.
when I'm there, I'm learning too. But when people come in and like, oh, I don't want to wear this African stuff. Don't nobody wear this. Hey, I'm like, hey, this is a part of. I mean, oh man, we hear it all the time. Oh, they get mad. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it's optional. You don't have to come in here and buy any of this stuff. My
Hello.
pastor said they want us to wear this, but now you mad because you're wearing stuff it's too much color. Y'all ain't got nothing that's all black. But I'm serious. I'm
Right.
telling y'all, it's the
Wow.
conversations that y'all were here in there would just totally blow your mind. So
Right.
I make it my responsibility to make sure that I'm still in a position to still educate. I've been hosting the Kwanzaa program for the last 3 years, so I'm the MC, and so I'm constantly learning. We have guest speakers come from all over the world, from Tony Broader to what's the sister's name? Sacred Woman. Uh, I can't even call her name right now. It's gonna come
Well,
to
y'all
me in a
had the
minute.
queen, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we had the sister that was head of Nation of Islam to come speak. We've had the brother that invented Kwanzaa to come speak. So we've had heavyweights. So this is all educational. So this right here, I think we have, if we could separate this religion from our heritage, will be so much more stronger and better for our culture and for our legacy. And I just wish we would do that, you know?
Yeah, beautiful, sister. Is it fair to say, Sister Pache, that uh, partly what you're saying that religion waters our heritage down?
It does. It really does. It really does.
Because if even in school, I remember going to school and St. Patrick's Day had come up, and the teacher wouldn't let us in the room if we wasn't wearing green.
Yeah.
Yep. Or somebody crazy will be trying to pinch you. I
Yeah.
wish you
Yeah.
would. I wish you
Yeah.
would pinch me. I wish you would.
Yeah.
I wish you would. Oh my God.
you
And,
know,
and,
and, and and go ahead, sister. You wanted to say something?
no, I was just about to say, we're not Irish. So why you mad that we're not
Exactly.
wearing
We
green?
right.
You know.
We're not Irish, and but they say the same thing. They say, well, religion has its place, and Jesus and Catholicism and Jehovah Witness and Christianity is all God. It's just different paths, and it doesn't matter what color God is. And then why'd you paint everything white
Exactly.
if
Mm,
if it doesn't
that's
matter?
good.
if
Exactly.
if it doesn't matter, then why are you forcing me to wear green in the classroom, and you're not saying anything about Egypt or for us to dress? When is Daishiki Day?
Hmm.
Right.
You know,
Right. Real talk.
and
Yeah.
and you and they continue it. They continue it to this day. I mean, you look at some of these prime ministers or the leaders of so-called leaders of Jamaica, black or and Africa, but they're wearing European suits.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
where
And
is how you
that's the question I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
Rich.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Leslie.
I wanted to ask, and Miss, is it Pasha? I want to ruin your name.
That's okay. It's
Queen
Pache. You can say Shay.
Pasha.
Yes, man.
Pache. Pache and Rick. My question is, 'cause I was listening. Okay, we're talking about heritage right now. We're talking about Black people. We also know where we live, where we are. We know well the system because it's been drilled in us. At what? I mean, how do you? Because what I've done is at my house, in my home, whatever surrounds Leslie, pro Black, pro this, everything with my children, everything. But I code switched the way I speak. I'm so glad in 2010 I came out of corporate because I had slick hair and a tight bun. Child, the one thing I love about not being a corporate no more, I was able to just go poof and just didn't care.
Okay.
But my question is, or statement or whatever, um, don't you, in order to be in this land we call the United States, you have to do certain things to excel, to be able to navigate through the work system, the education system, the economic system. You have to live, you have to eat, you have to feed your family, you have to do this and that. And I know we're talking about heritage. So talk to me. What do y'all think about that? Because you have to do what you got to do to get what you got to get. You see what I'm saying? And y'all see what I'm trying to say? I'm not
Yeah,
asking
Mm-hmm.
I see exactly
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying. But
how do you
but
navigate and not. I don't ever lose myself, but I think it's impossible, y'all. I really do. And I can stand to be corrected. But right now, I think it's impossible not to do certain things to get what you need to do to survive. What do y'all think about that?
Well, you want to go Pache or
You go. I'll go second. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, when you say the word impossible, there's no such thing.
Well, let me break it down then.
No,
When
no,
you was
no.
like
Let me.
application.
Wait a minute. Hold on,
Okay.
Leslie. You made the question is a valid question and it's a good question. I
Oh,
understand it fully. This is just my approach to the answer.
okay.
I understand your correct me if I'm wrong. Let me just make it clear. Your question is, look, everybody's got to get the bread. We got to survive. It comes a point to where you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, but not
You
but
you
half and half. My question is, isn't it impossible to be all the way what we're talking about and not ever do certain things?
well you mentioned like you got to do what you got to do. You said that,
Hmm.
and I'm saying the black person at this point, if you see on video that we're getting murdered on video, now that's
Oh yeah,
nothing new. That's nothing new. It's just on video now.
yeah, true.
The police force is just an extension of the slave catcher.
Oh, definitely.
So technically, we've been standing in the same place since they kidnapped us when it comes to doing what we got to do. See, we never fought back correctly. When somebody kidnap you from somewhere and force you into a lifestyle, that's tyranny, that's kidnapping, that's wrong. And strip you of your heritage. When they kidnapped us from Africa, Leslie, did they let us bring our food with us?
No, of course not.
Did they say, wait a minute, pack before we take you over here? They just took us. So the only thing we know, Leslie, is to comply. Because we don't even know our own language anymore. This is not our language.
Okay.
So all you know is to comply. All you know is to do what you got to do. All you know and see is to comply and be dependent. But heritage deep down inside of you says revolt. If you can't do anything about it, you don't comply, you revolt if you see it's wrong. Now, everything is not wrong. Some things, society is society. You have to do, you need money, you need shelter, you need clothing. But the things you know is wrong, you revolt against it.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
Mhm.
and we change things, but people tell me publicly, well, we don't have the guns, we don't have this. I said, look, if we had more guns, we still wouldn't win. We spiritual people. You're not going to win this with guns. You're not going to win this with education. You're
Mhm.
going to win this with liberating your mind from a slave mindset.
Hmm.
And the only way you do that is you got to start somewhere. When you see these big houses and these great hotels, any great structure started with one nail and one piece of wood, or
And
one
a
brick
foundation.
and a foundation.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You got to start somewhere and you keep chipping away. Now you got they say obey the laws of the land and do all of this and all that. But listen, when it comes time for revolution, you have to throw all of that out of the window.
Of course.
You think that George Washington thought you think that George Washington thought about anything when he decided to leave England? He knew what he was doing could get him hanged. He knew what he was doing could separate his family. He knew what he was doing could get him killed. But we as a people, we must stop feeding the beast altogether, even if it means losing our job, even if it means losing our life, even if it means because to be free is not an easy thing. A lot of people is not going to make it. So, but you got to start with that one nail and you got to keep on nailing and you got to start with revolting and you got to use common sense. You give and take a little until you can get it all.
That's what I
But
was talking about.
you yeah, and
Mhm.
but as a people, you must stand and come together and say, you know what, we revolting against this, and this is not going to happen anymore because when they take your heritage, see, when heritage leaves you, fear takes over. And when heritage fills you, it's the ending of fear and sorrow. So we're so scared to take us. Just see, when the heritage and the ancestors are with you, the first step is the last step. The universe takes over. I don't talk this way. I live this way. Yes, I got fired from a lot of jobs. Yes, I gave up a lot of jobs. But I
Mhm.
say liberation over education, because I'm free to walk with the trees and to listen to the birds and to listen to my ancestors and the universe. I might not have as much money and all of that other stuff, but I have what I need. And you will learn, when you have what you need, you can get your wants on your own.
Mhm.
Now to answer the question is, you revolt against what's wrong,
That's
no
not.
matter no matter what.
Got a question, guys. Um, you said you chip away, you build a foundation one step at a time, right? But what do you say about the people that look like us but don't have the same mindset, that want to be a part of their foundation? They just want to flow with them. They just want to be equal to them. And they want to go to their club. They want to play golf with them, and so on and so forth.
Well, that's
Spirit
that's
of
the
the
that's
shadow.
that's why the successful people. That's why the successful people. It's not in history enough, but the successful people that led slaves to freedom, who was black, carried two guns: one for the white man and one for the slave mindset who wanted to stay with massa.
For the coon.
Right.
Mhm.
You can't concentrate on why somebody do what they do. When somebody is whooping up on your child, you don't ask no questions. You don't
That's
think
right.
about what somebody agree with this or not. You gotta go. You gotta get that person off your child.
Hmm.
And right now, we as a people, we gotta get the heart start beating, because when you're operating on somebody, if you're operating on the leg and the heart stops, you gotta leave the leg to get the heartbeat back.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So when you're revolting and you see something body on your child and your mother, you don't question it. You take action to eliminate it. Then once you free, you can handle all the other stuff. That's what the criminal justice system is. If you look beyond the surface, the criminal justice is telling you what it's about. We created a justice system for our criminals.
Mhm.
And you comply, and you, with a slave mindset, agree and comply to it. But if you look at it, the action of it, they created a system for criminals. Because it's criminal. It's not spiritual what's going on.
I like to say this: the worst thing um, than a racist is a coon. Harriet Tubman shot him. I'm just gonna say it. And what's so bad about it? I'm not saying I'm gonna shoot nobody, y'all, but I said this. Y'all, I know I will not be invited back. But when
Oh,
they
no.
when they shot that baby when he was jogging, that baby, like I'm real old, y'all, but the Aubrey, and I didn't know nothing about it till it hit recently. I said this, and I mean what I say. If anybody kill mine in February, you die in February. I'm sorry. That's
Yes.
it. I no, I almost died 5 times bringing him here, and you ain't gonna take one out for nothing, doing nothing. So I just pray or whatever that I don't get tested, because y'all be like, oh, I don't know her. Y'all be ashamed to know me because I'm gonna cut the food. I'm not waiting on nobody. I'm not waiting on justice. I'm not even waiting for y'all to march for the little fat black lady. I'm going 8. I'm going. So I will die for mine.
Leslie, you just answered your own question.
No,
Yes, you
you
did.
took it another way. Evidently, I didn't say it right because I wasn't talking about protesting the death and whatever else. I was talking about the everyday practical things we have to do on the everyday. I wasn't talking about the protesting and the killings and all that stuff. Because you was
No,
talking
no,
about
but
heritage and living on
right,
that daily stuff.
right. But Leslie, you don't look at the practical and the details when it comes time to
That's right.
revolt.
You
I,
really did
honey,
answer.
no. I wasn't talking about revolting. When you were talking about heritage, I'm talking about the simple things like we do every day to get that job or to do whatever else. Why can't it be you hold on to your heritage, you do what you got to do, you this and that, and blah, blah, blah. I wasn't talking about revolting our rights and whatever else because I'm just a militant than anybody on here. Trust me,
Right,
I have an arsenal. I was
right,
talking about us having maintain our heritage because I know who I am and everything else, and they're not gonna take that from me. But I don't go 80 miles per hour on the highway. Or when
right,
I gotta go to an interview, I know how they are. I know it's running by the good old boys club. So I put all this bush with some gel and a ball. So that's why I was
right,
talking about that type of thing. I
right.
wasn't talking about
Okay, okay, I get it, Leslie. But let me ask you a question. If the speed limit is 40
mhm.
and your child is having a heart attack, do you go 40?
No, I wasn't. We were talking about
No, no, that's a question.
no, I don't. I don't. My son just had a stroke. I did not go for
Yes, yes.
it,
So what? Right.
Oh, go ahead.
So what I'm saying, Leslie, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying when it comes time for that hour that you must have justice.
And I agree, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're
My
both.
original question
I'm
was,
just. I'm just saying. I'm just giving another analogy of the
oh,
answer.
okay.
You know. See, if the speed limit is 25 and I'm rushing my child to the hospital, I'm not thinking about any details.
Of course.
I know what it. We know. Look, nobody knows better than black people how to fit in and get over. We'll talk one way at the interview, but we'll act the other way at the club.
Hmm.
We'd be at the club, be like, sister, what's up? We'd be at home, be like, yo, you got that done yet? Look, you better come over here. But when we in that interview, excuse me, yes, I do have my resume here, and Mr. So-and-so is it here. See, we live a double, triple life all our
Yes, we do.
lives because our heritage
Hmm.
is stripped.
Yeah.
And that's why this is called Queen's Corner, because nobody is stripped worse than the queen.
Yeah.
Because she takes
Mhm.
care of the child and she taking care of the man. All due respect to my kings out there. Now, the woman can't do it without the man, and the king can't do it without the queen.
True.
But it's a lot of instances where the queen and the grandmother is doing everything,
Mhm.
and we just have to. And but the queens hold on to the heritage. They hold on to the heritage longer than the man does. Now, the man, he has the king is everybody's envy. The tall, dark, and handsome. Everybody wants that.
Mhm.
But there's no king without the queen.
Mm-hmm.
The
She
queen,
brings
yes. Go ahead,
she
King.
she brings forth the breath. She gives the life. And I remember Baba said that society only go as far as the woman goes. And
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mhm.
true. It's just that within today's society we have a prolonged misunderstanding amongst black men and black women, where it's like they're both fighting for supremacy, but there is no supremacy. Is every man comes from a woman, and every so on and so forth, and we got to understand that we all have a part to play, and the part that the queens play, a man cannot play it. A man
Mhm.
cannot bring life in this world by himself. Every man got his breath from a woman. And we need to stand tall together, not separately.
Yes.
So until we start protecting our mothers, our grandmothers, and our
Yes.
women, we will still be within the toilet that we are at this moment.
Amen.
Because if you look at
Mhm.
it, we create everything. So we don't need to fight for what we already created. It's time
Mm-hmm.
for evolution, and the
Yes.
evolution is unity. And
Yes.
through that spirituality, if we come together with just the thought of our mind, it will become what it needs to become,
Yeah.
because we are far more powerful. And
Together.
they know that. And
Yes.
they're fighting for survival.
Yes.
That's
Mhm.
why they're eliminating us. You have to separate the queen from the king in order to create the chaos, the faggotry, and so on and so forth. You turn her into a masculine person, and you turn him feminine.
Yeah.
But you have certain queens that pretty much take on that and make it seem like it's normal. It is not normal.
Can I say something? Is it Jermaine talking? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, queen.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
and
I'm
before you
sorry.
say that, you're welcome to come back. This
Yes.
we love the
Yes.
energy.
Y'all know I'm fired. But
Go
anyway,
ahead. No, we love the
No, you're
energy. Go
good.
ahead.
You're good.
I got to say this. I make the joke, but it's really serious. I tell people I ain't burn my bra. I won't dare. I would love to be submissive to someone. That baby, this is going on. Oh, baby, I got you. And no, he really got me. The misconception about, and I hate it with a passion, when you say black women are they're too rough, they're loud, they're this and this and that. And they always put labels on us and stereotyping us and running us down and act like we some kind of beast and whatever else. No one stops to go like, why does
Yeah.
she do that?
Mhm.
Let me tell
Yeah.
you something. No one stops to ask us why. We don't. Everybody don't walk around a chip. Everybody don't want to be, doing this and doing that. We have to. We have to take care of ourselves, the children, most likely somebody's grandma, auntie. We got to take care of the community because I work 3 jobs. So the sister down the street got up early, collected mine from the bus stop. Mine ain't paying no child support. Hey, you got a couple of mason jars full of greens. I mean, we're taking care of each other. We're taking care and taking care. And then we got to protect each other. We out here, y'all, with no protection. We're fighting people. I got ran down and pregnant. And people forget, so since we are women, we do give birth. We're 8, 6, and 9 months pregnant, still working a full-time job, a job and a half. People don't give us the credit we deserve. 2
Mm.
months after cesarean, with whatever kids were left at home, I said to get back to bandages up on my stomach. Hello, may I help you? At work, we're unprotected, fighting a man, tap me on my shoulder, punch me in my face. So I went to eat him up. I mean, just we're out here all by ourselves. I'm not saying there ain't no men nowhere ain't doing. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the black woman as a whole is dog dragged, talk about, and it doesn't help that these stupid reality shows.
Ooh, speak.
Oh yeah. And but see,
Hmm.
that's why we asked you to come here, Leslie.
But just let me finish. Let me finish. I'm sorry, baby. But what people don't realize, we're that way because we love hard. If a black
Mm.
woman is down for you, if she got you. I know women in my personal life who've gone to jail for their men. I said they were stupid, but they love hard. You know what I'm saying? The loyalty of a black woman is surpasses anything that I've ever heard about or read about or Googled about. We love hard. We love our children hard. That's why when they started killing up on my babies, we looked around and said, "Well, nobody gonna do nothing about it." These women got together and went, "Okay, y'all want to play? Okay, let's do this." But what they don't know, all of us don't want to be the man. All of us don't want to be hard. Some of us don't want to struggle for position. But I'm not gonna let you lead me off a cliff.
Speak.
Come
Right.
on. I'm
You
not
know,
because I make 50, 70, or whatever $1,000 a year, and you dump garbage, man, the way I less work, that house is clean when you get home. Your dinner is cooked. If I'm getting off last, I bring the dinner home. Children ain't dirty. Nose was never snotty. I do what I'm supposed to do. I want to be in line. I want to look to somebody and go, baby, I'm worried. I'm scared. I want to fall asleep on somebody's chest. He got me. I don't want to be the snap, but guess what? I had to be. And then because we have to fight and have all these dual roles, and we have to teach boys. And I'm a firm believer a woman can't teach a man child everything he needs to know. I don't care who get mad, I can't. I just said, point your wee wee in the donut hole, baby. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? So I really believe our black village need to get back in order, get back in line. But if our man is in jail or dead, we have to step up. And so that's a discussion need to be maybe another time that need to be had. Some of us don't want to be hard. I'm tired of being in charge, y'all. I just had
Well,
my building up yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm, some of us wants to be submissive I know you don't like that word, but want a man in charge, want to respect a man. We don't want to be hard and this and this and that, but we got to protect ourselves out here in these streets. That's all I got to say.
Well, there's a point well made, and it's Queen's Corner is about the passion of it because the queens are passionate. And
Mm-hmm.
Sister Pache had a live a few weeks ago, and well, Sister Pache always said that she never. Sister Pache is a poet, and she doesn't have a male bashing poem,
Yeah.
Gosh, it
and
does.
that's part of the strength. And one of the reasons why I host the Queen's Corner is because uh, the queens are passionate. We've always been passionate, and Leslie, you've expressed it perfectly, and you showed passion in it. But Leslie, you know what you've been through. You know what you're going through, right?
Yes.
And you still on this platform. I love that, Shaka Khan, and you looking 30 something years old, and you looking beautiful. And I knew Sister Shay before I knew King and you. And I know some of the stories of what Sister Shay been through. And Sister Shay is shining like the morning light.
Wow.
You
Amen.
would never know what you queens been through. We only know what you told us,
Yeah.
let alone of what we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and this is what Queen's Corner is about. And in closing, I want to say, those of you who watching, and Shanae was on here earlier, these queens been through something.
Mm.
Yeah.
These queens
Mm-hmm.
are going through something.
Yeah.
But you would never know it if you look at their light, at their face and their beauty. And and that's how that's what this platform is about. We keeping it together, not panicking, not letting
Yeah.
this platform is about, like my book is about no matter how tough it gets, we're tougher,
All right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how funky it gets, it's not going to destroy us.
All
No
right.
matter how bad
Yeah.
it looks or how bad it seems.
Mm.
Not only
Because
define us.
our heritage has proven this. We're still here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not only we still here, and I want you, and in closing, I want the audience to look at Pache and look at Leslie. Not only we still here, we're still we are still beautiful.
Still beautiful, still standing, still powerful.
Still sane.
That's
You're
right.
seeing.
Yeah.
And in Queen's Quarter 4, we're gonna go through the heart and soul of the
Mm.
Queen. And that's
That's
part
gonna
of
be
the
good.
reason. That's part of the reasons why they still standing, y'all. And not only that, they're about to take over.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
how about that?
And
So
and everything you pretty much stated, Queen. I concur. I feel. I enter over and understand what it is, and as a king, I recognize it. It saddens me, and sometimes it even disgusts me. I've seen videos where a queen is getting socked over her head, and the so called a king is standing there recording it as if it's
Mm.
amusing, as if they don't come out of a mother, right? These
Ooh.
things are terrified. Like for some reason, this generation is numb to everything that's flowing around them. And
Yeah.
I understand that people tend to avoid things when it's not in front of their doorsteps, but they're forgetting their copper color. They're
Yeah.
aboriginal and they look like you. So if it's not in front of your door today, it will be there tomorrow. If not
It's coming.
tomorrow, it was coming eventually.
Yeah.
So until we stand for something, we'll continue to fall for freaking every single
Everything.
thing, everything they throw out there,
Yes.
right? But first, we have to find out who we really are because everything is fabricated and they tell you your life started 400 years ago. You were a slave. I was not. I was not a slave. I don't know what it's like to be one. Maybe in a corporation now, yes. As far as chattel and that terminology, how you want to speak, yes, in that way, because I have to feed minds. But on the same construct, it is not. It's not in the 18 or 1600s. It's not gonna work that same way. And today I just found out that they hung another king in Los Angeles from a
What?
tree. From a tree. So
50 miles
one,
apart, two of them.
yes,
One
yes.
another day, 50 miles apart the other day.
So they're doing this on purpose. You're
Yes.
telling me, you can't tell me it's not purposely being done and
Oh,
being
yes.
done simultaneously. So at what point we say, you know what? Let's alleviate protesting. Protesting is done. And I agree with what you said, because if you come for mine, I'm coming for yours. Because
Yeah,
that's
that's it.
me.
Me
That
what I
is
say.
me.
Mhm.
We go, we take, if y'all want to get religious, let's take it back to the Old Testament. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Plain and simple. And
It's common sense.
Yeah.
that's pretty much what it is. We are being used and abused, and they keep saying it's like they're unaware. They keep saying, "Oh, they crying. Oh, we gave him Barack. Barack ain't do nothing for us.
No, he
He
didn't.
did more for the gay community than he actually did for the so-called blacks." Right? We got to stop
That's right.
looking at celebrities to save us and start saving
Exactly.
ourselves. Straighten your covenant, because if your covenant is strong, nobody can knock on your walls.
Exactly.
Point blank.
Mhm.
Period. And do you guys have any closing arguments?
I apologize,
For what?
For what?
For being you?
but
For
I'm
being you?
I'm just done with everything. I'm done.
She said
And
she
I just
done.
done. I
Done,
mean what
done.
I
Hey,
say.
Leslie,
Yes,
we
sir.
got we got people watching us looking for answers because
Mhm.
we have solutions, and you gave some solutions. What you said today helped somebody. Now, I don't know how it goes wherever you go, but when you come here, you can be you.
That's it.
Well, I'm not used to that. I've been kicked out of plenty places.
The only way we gonna kick you out if you disrespect and all that arguing and all that stuff. No,
No,
but
I
you
don't work like that.
you here to, Leslie, you here to be Leslie.
That's it.
Child.
And
Well,
you know,
all seriousness, I just want to say that I appreciate this platform. I really do, for reasons we'll discuss in the future, since y'all crazily want me back. But I got to say this. I stand by what I say. There's nothing worse than a coon. And the things I've seen that came out of black folks' mouth that has a million person platform shudders me to the core. It makes me sick. And I've done more fighting since George Floyd died with black folks, coons, than I have with the racists. And that's sad. Because people just don't want things to change. Remind me of a big high school. They want to sit at the cool kid table while they still get
mm,
paid. That's the way I feel about it all. But one thing I do know, like I'm breathing and looking at y'all. If you look like me or either one of you, their time is coming. Because those folks on the right don't care nothing about you. They use you as a puppet and a mouthpiece and a joke, but they don't care nothing about you. And when they try to come a lynching, they like and go, "Oh, Candace Owens belonged to the massa." It ain't gonna help, child. So I just want to say,
Glad that. Thank you. That
that's
needed to
it.
be said. That needed to be
Yeah.
said.
oh yeah,
That needed to be said, Leslie.
she's a coon.
Hmm.
She's one, and I got people. I got fired and cut off and blocked so many times this week, child. I'm almost honored. But I said, Candace Owens is a coon that Harriet Tubman would have shot. That's just the fact. They don't teach y'all that in high school. But Harriet Tubman had a gun and she was shooting traitors. She had to, because they'll give away the location and the plan.
Hmm.
There's nothing
Well,
worse
now, yeah.
than somebody who looked like you that will stab you in the back and kill you just to sit beside your oppressor's table. Like, I did good, Massa. That's good. No, I can kill you. Kill mine, I'll kill you.
And see,
That's real.
on that note, and I want everybody out there that's listening. We've got scrutinized and slapped on the hand by YouTube. We had agents come on our platform. We had all kind of
Hmm.
things happen to us and still happening. I've got before I was on this platform, I've gotten death threats and all of these things because they don't want to see black people coming together doing this. And all the coons out there, all the double agents, All the people
I
out
like
there
that.
who see the people, the black people try to fit in to society, and they try to look up to massa because they think they have something. They think they have a house and a job and all of that. They think they live in the illusion of ownership. And in closing, and we're going to close after this. See, when the police pull a car over with Candace Owens in it and four other white people, and they say, "Get out, nigga," who's the only one that's going to get out? Who's the only one they're going to pull out?
Cornetto.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is what all of them is going to see. All of them are going to get their nigga wake up call.
Oh yes, I feel
See,
that.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
they just haven't gotten it yet. And
Mhm.
if you don't think I'm telling the truth, just ask Bill Cosby.
Mhm. Hello.
Mm-hmm. That's
Okay.
it.
So
Yeah.
look, you can go to their schools, you can talk what you talk, but the bottom line, you can't change the color of yourself.
Mhm.
You can't cash in your face.
Mm-mm.
And on that note, that's what heritage is about. See, once they take you away from your heritage, you talk like Candace Owens. Once
Yeah.
they take you away from your heritage, you act like O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They get caught up in stuff. See, these people are drawn out,
Mm.
and they get their nigga wake up call, and it's too late.
Keon. What not Keon? What his name? Kanye West.
Anybody out there is like Jermaine said earlier. These celebrities, look, when you in trouble, if your son is laying there and needs surgery, and you don't call a celebrity.
No.
You sure don't.
If we need revolution, you don't call a celebrity.
No.
The celebrity is picked by the white supremacy to entertain you, so you can keep your mind off of critical thinking.
Yes. And keep you docile.
So
Mhm.
heritage, they're there to separate you from your heritage.
Mhm.
So they're getting paid and set up to stay compromised. Most of them.
Mhm.
Muhammad Ali taught everybody how to revolt. Even Martin Luther King. No one was saying was saying anything against the Vietnam War until Ali said it.
Exactly.
Because
Mm-hmm.
he was back in touch with his heritage.
Mhm.
And Muhammad and I'll close for real with this one. Muhammad Ali said, "Yes, I am a celebrity. I am a boxer, and I look great, and I'm famous. But if I can't protest for my people and stand up for what's right, you can have this championship and your fame and all that."
All right.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan can't do that. I never bought a Michael Jordan shoe.
Neither did I. And
Why
I
is
worked
that?
at Foot Locker.
Why is it because he support jail system? He pays privatized jails.
Uh, well,
Now
all of the above.
he had a chance back when he was first playing to stand up. He chose commerce over his community, over justice. I never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
He
the thing
did.
with me. The thing with me is that while we look to these people, they're really ordinary people with a big bank account. That's it. Why do we keep looking to them for saving when
Well,
when they're just on a state? I understand they have a platform, and there's a couple of them I respect. Like, I mean, they badmouth dude like LeBron James, but he's the only one that I see walk within the light of
Yeah,
doing what he's supposed to do. He
yeah,
he married black. He hires his friends and they do what he's for, and he speak up. He speaks. He's one of the loudest mouths in the NBA because he speaks up.
yeah.
Some
but
will
but
go
But
ahead.
I was about to say one of the things because you asked, you said, why do we do that? You have to think about it. We've been conditioned to do it for so long. We've done it
Hello,
from,
hello, hello.
yeah, we've done it from the churches. I mean, we put these pastors on, we won't do nothing. I got to talk to my pastor. I got to see what my pastor say. Oh, I don't know. Let me talk. We put these people on pedestals, because we won't take the time to sit and think and just vibrate on our own frequency. We want to put other people out there instead of because everything that we're wanting them to do, we can do ourselves.
And
Yeah.
we've already done it.
And we have proven that over and over and over again. And we still do it. And our legacy, I mean, it's our legacy is so rich, but we have to stop giving other people our power when we have the power within us. Period. Point blank. Period. That's it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know.
So we have to go back to our spirituality. And I was telling somebody the other day, there's like, well, George was this and George was that, and then black people out there. I said, look, if you don't stop any injustice anywhere is a threat to peace everywhere. If you don't stop the person that you don't know being hanged, eventually it's going to be your son.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Let me ask a question, and this is a thing that I dislike about some of our people, right? If say I committed say a crime 5, 10 years ago, what does 10 years ago have to do with the present moment of my life no longer being in my body? It
It
has
does not.
nothing to do with it.
It has
The issue.
nothing.
The issue now is what's going on now, and that's the thing. You got to pay attention to who controls the media, and that's what they do. See, a boy will walk into church and kill 8 or 9 people, and they take him to Burger King, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
we're innocent protesting and whatever, you're getting sprayed, you're getting hanged, you're still getting killed. They talk about, oh, you don't know how to conform or go along with them. You go along and be the nicest with them. And
You still get hit in the
honestly,
street.
honestly, y'all don't even pay attention to it, but it's on a deeper level. It's on a molecular spiritual level.
Yeah.
When you walk around, your vibration commands so much respect. They know it. It's like pheromones. They can smell it. They women smell it. When you step forward to them, they smell the inferiority within themselves. It's like a lion staring down a gazelle. They know what it is. They know who is superior. But guess what? If I can spend multi-billions of dollars to make you look smaller than you actually are and program you to make you like nothing and then whitewash everything as if I'm the one that's on top, hey, I'm gonna do it if it's that damn easy. And guess what? I have a few of you guys helping me do it.
Yes. Been told.
Hello.
Hmm.
Hello.
Hmm.
So
Hello.
I'm gonna end with that. With everyone that want to participate on MEN-talRollaDek, please send me a request at King Jermaine on Facebook.com. Go ahead on YouTube, like and subscribe. Follow on IG and Twitter at MEN-talRollaDek. I
Bye, guys.
I
Nice meeting
say gratitude, Queen. Looking forward to seeing you if you had the chance on the other Queen's Corner #4. Gratitude for
Absolutely.
Shay. Rich,
Thank you.
you did a wonderful job.
you. Yes, he did.
It's
Keep being
it's
you.
nice to meet you, Queen. Nice
Nice
to
to
meet
meet you,
you. And thank
Jose.
you. Thank you for hanging out with us, Queen Leslie.
I
Uh,
enjoyed Eva.
Yes,
Peace,
yes.
everyone.
Bye
Love is
bye.
Peace and
love.
blessings.